right, all right. All right, all right. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the replay. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and feel free to share. If you're watching on the replay, share it. If you're on Apple, swipe to the right. If you're on Android, from the bottom to the top. And you can share it with all your friends there. And also hit the hearts. Show some love, ladies and gentlemen. Show some love. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Show some love. Show some love. Love is what makes the world go round, right? Love is what makes the world go round. Show some love. Let's get excited. All right, that's your way of participating. That's your way of hyping it up. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, we should get excited when we're talking about money, ladies and gentlemen. Only a few things to get us excited in life, and especially if you want to play the money game to win, you got to get excited about money. All right? All right, you only get excited about things that you like, right? That are good, that you're excited about. Go ahead and share it right now, ladies and gentlemen. We got a minute left, brothers and sisters. I got a minute left, so let's go ahead and share it right now. Hit the paradude. Getting beat with Candace with the hearts. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Righteous competition. You know how we do it in the nation. Righteous competition. Let's go ahead and compete on the shares. Let's go ahead and compete on the shares. Go ahead and hit the paradude in the bottom. Go ahead and hit the paradude in the bottom. Let's quickly share because it's the top of the hour and we're going to get started. The challenge is for you guys to see how many times you can share it on a Periscope. How many times does Periscope let you share per live stream? How many times did it let you share per live stream on Apple and on Facebook and Twitter? That should be the challenge for my regular folks that show up. You should be it's only 30 minutes, so every 10 minutes you should be sharing it on Facebook and Twitter and see see how many times Periscope lets you do that. Same thing over there with you guys in Meerkat. Welcome, Meerkatters. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time here, hey, Walt, this is your first time here, you guys put new, and always put what city you're from. Put new and what city you're from. I may know where you're from, but other viewers may not know. And we're here to connect because we're like-minded people, and we're here to connect. We're here to connect. So make sure you do that, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you do that. Restream it over there at Meerkat. Restream it at Meerkat. All right? That book that you see right there on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, you can get that book, Black Labor, White Wealth. Go to my website, DarrellMuhammad.net. Hit More and Reading List, and go ahead and pick that up. All right? Pick that up. Remember, the money game is a mind game, so get your mind right. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's turn the Meerkatters around. Good morning, Meerkatters. And let's go. Periscopers. All right. Good morning, Periscopers. Good morning, everybody. This is Darrell Muhammad coming to you live from Houston, Texas. Real estate investor, mentor, coach, entrepreneur, businessman. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man, in the words of Jay-Z. All right. We're excited to be here. Online, offline, sales, and marketing. Those are just some of the things that I've done, some of the things I have expertise in. And Malcolm Gladwell says you're an expert anytime you invest 10,000 hours or more in one area, one skill set. So that qualifies you and qualifies me to be called an expert. And 10,000 hours is a lot of hours. All right. So let's go ahead and share real quick, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, where we're going through our normal housekeeping items. Then that's a good time for you to share and give your friends a chance to get on board. All right. Once again, this is how you can reach me. This is how we can get connected and stay connected, is by you going to DarrellMuhammad.net. DarrellMuhammad.net. It's a lot of good stuff on there. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't covered on Periscope. I won't cover on Periscope. It'll just be for my my members here on this website. Excuse me. So if you want all of the information, go to DarrellMuhammad.net. Subscribe. We're going to have a lot of private live events and a lot of other things that you can only get by being on the list. So go to DarrellMuhammad.net. Click on more book list. You can see what books to buy. All right. So we can be on the same page and we can move forward together. All right. Click on contact if you want me to present to, your sales organization, since I have extensive training in sales and marketing. If you want me to talk to some youth, your fraternity, your sorority, I can come into your city. Reach out to me, brothers and sisters, and I can show you or tell you and show you how you can get me to come to your city without me charging anything at no cost to you. All right, no cost to you to bring me in your city. Because this message needs to be heard. That is the mission for 2016. All right. To meet me on Periscope and Twitter, you're already here on Periscope. All right. It's there at DarrellMuhammad and in the fan book. Thank you very much. Facebook fan page is DarrellMuhammad fan page. DarrellMuhammad fan page there at Facebook. All right. Excuse me for a minute. I don't know. Having the cases of the yawns. You know how people have cases of the sneezes? I have cases of the yawns. So once again, brothers and sisters, get this book. All right? Get this book. This is a very, very good book by Claude Anderson. All right? I advise you, if you're about economics, black empowerment, you definitely want to get this book. This is very, very well written. It's more on a scholarly level because it gives you statistics and facts, not emotion. Remember, there's no emotions in economics, right? Unless you bring it. There's nothing but facts. So you want to get this, go to DarrellMuhammad.net, click on more reading lists, and get that book today, all right? So we've been talking about the money game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in the process of adding these money game live streams to that site, DarrellMuhammad.net, so that's why you want to go there. Excuse me. So you want to go there so you can get notification of those uploads, all right? Those uploads so you can catch them all. So we're talking about, no, not sleepy. This is a case of the yawns. Case of the yawns, Sister Candace. Just like people have cases of the sneezes. People have allergies and they sneeze. I'm just having a case of the yawns right now, right? Maybe it's what they call it in Dynetics. I don't know, but it might be, those of you who are auditors or know Dynetics, that might be what that is. Burn off or whatever it's called. Anyway, so the money game, pillar number 2. Pillar number 2. Yeah, I think it's called boil off. Anyway, pillars number 2. Pillar number 2, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, is expenses. We're going to talk about expenses today. We need to make a paradigm shift when it comes to expenses. Many times when we hear the word expense, we hear the word expenses, we get this negative feeling. We think about budgeting, which we don't want to do. That's almost like dieting, We think of maybe the word paying bills, right? Oh, Lord. Expenses. I got to pay my bills. My goodness, right? Oh, God, I don't want to do that. So many of us, most of us, being that we avoid our bills, we avoid expenses, we have a negative feeling towards it, right? So we have to change that. You can't have any negative feeling towards money. None. You have to kill it. You have to uproot it. You can't trim it or cut it down. You have to uproot it. And how do you do that? You do that with reprogramming or making a paradigm shift, right? So here's how we need to look at expenses. Expenses is the cost of living, right? Living. The only way you don't have expenses is if you don't live, if you're dead. And I don't know the last time you checked, but living is a good thing. Living is a great thing. I'm happy to be alive, right? Nothing can be so bad in my life where I'm not happier to be alive than I am whatever my situation is, right? I've never, ever reached that point, right? Never, ever reached that point, ladies and gentlemen. So think of expenses as the cost of doing business. It really is. It's the cost of doing business in life, right? It's part of living. No expenses, no life. No expenses, no life. It's the cost of doing business. From the day we're brought into this earth, we accrued an expense. I've heard it said when I was a stockbroker, that it costs X number of dollars to be born. Every time a person's born, it costs X number of dollars. X number of dollars, ladies and gentlemen. So that's an expense. At the hospital, with a doula, or whatever the case may be. It's an expense, right? So if you live, you're going to have expenses, right? It doesn't matter how old you get, you're going to have expenses. Even if you go to an old folks' home, somebody has to pay for that, right? Expenses. So look at expenses as a positive thing. The only way you and I can get rid of expenses is if we die. And even in death, there's expenses. Somebody has to pay for your funeral. All right? So let us be happy. Let us understand that expenses is the cost we pay for admission in life. Somebody put that into the feed. Somebody put that into the live feed. Expenses is the cost of admission to life, right? To life. So we want to make sure we change the paradigm shift on expenses. So no longer from this day, and a lot of ways to change your paradigm shift, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a side note, is to write it down, right? Write stuff down, right? You should have your pen and pad, and you should be writing stuff down. Write stuff down. That's the way it penetrates to your subconscious mind if you write stuff down. All right? So, the problem is not expenses, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the problem. So, we shouldn't have a negative feeling towards expenses. The problem is not expenses. You know what the problem is? The problem is our income. Our income doesn't exceed our expenses. And if it does, not by much, to whereas there's not enough room for security. See, rich people, wealthy people, they're looking for security. And how do they get it financially? By having their income far outpace their expenses. Far outpace it. Not here, not here, not here, here. All right? Far outpace their expenses. It's said like this in common terms: you should live within your means, right? Or below your means. That's basically the same concept, right? But of course, wealthy people maximize. Wealthy people maximize. Thank you for the share, you guys. Thank you for the share, all right? So that's what we want to do. We want to understand that it's not an expense problem as much as it's an income problem. That's why my goal and your goal should be in 2016 to increase your income. Right? Now that's not a sufficient enough goal. If you know anything about goal settings, you don't set vague goals, abstract goals. You have to put a number on it. You want to increase your income by how much? 10%, 15%, 20%. Let me just give you a hint. Something I learned as a stockbroker. You always want your income to outpace or grow faster than inflation. Faster than inflation. The highest inflation, the highest consumer inflation number, being it food, being it clothing, being it medical, being it gas, or whatever the case may be, brothers and sisters, do some research. Everything's on Google. Do some research. All right, consumer inflation. Do some research and you'll find what that is, what they say it is, and let your income for 2016 be 5% higher than that highest number. All right, that's a homework assignment for you guys. all right, for all of us. So that's what you need to do, all right? So it's an income problem more than it's an expense problem, all right? So the only way to avoid expenses, ladies and gentlemen, is to die, right? And that's not something I want to do anytime soon, because I need as much time as possible to figure out and master, thank you, Sister Nyambe, master the money game. See, once you learn how to play the money game, once you learn the rules to the money game, now you have to go out there and play it every day. You have to exercise. You have to go out there and get out there and do it. Do it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to do it on a daily basis. If you and I have you read the book Pro Some? No, I haven't. In order for us to get good at anything, let alone great or master level, we have to do it every day, and then multiple times a day, then all through the day, and then make it a way of life. A way of life, okay? Now, here's the interesting thing. If you want a full life, brothers and sisters, if you want a full life, then you're going to have more expenses. If you want a full life, you're going to have bigger expenses. If I want a full life, Darrell, it can't happen on a shoestring budget. It can't happen on a shoestring budget, ladies and gentlemen. It can't happen on a shoestring budget. It just can't happen. Because your shoestring budget limits you. I said a full life, not a limited life. Full life means that you pursue anything that your heart can imagine, of good, I hope, then you pursue it. You have the energy and the means and the resources to pursue it. You may not get it, but you pursue it, right? That's living a full life. Now, we're going to open up for questions in the next 5 minutes. So if you have any questions on anything that we're talking about here, or any of the areas that I shared with you that I have extensive experience in, then go ahead and feel free to do that. All right? Feel free. Thank you for sharing, ladies and gentlemen. It's not too late to share. It's not too late to restream, Meerkatters. All right, rule number 1, get up and do it. Absolutely. Action. Action speaks louder than words. All right? So go ahead and share it. Restream it. Hi, got some newbies over there. C1 Ashby. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate your restreaming. All right? Hope this information is valuable. I know it's valuable. Hopefully you're getting some value from it. You can share it, ladies and gentlemen. You can use it and you can share it. Right? Ever since social media, those who've always had sharing in our heart, we're a giving person. Now we give more. All right? Thank you for being here, first timer. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Come back, share. Come back, share. All right? All right? So this is my way of giving back. I just want to give back. The only thing that required for you to give back is 2 things. 1, you have to have a giving heart, spirit, and soul. And you have to have something of value to give. All that other stuff, you don't need. And then, of course, you have to have courage to share, all right? So you don't need to be a New York bestseller. You don't need to be a multi-millionaire. You don't need to have a Bentley and a Bugatti and a Rolex watch. You just need 2 things. A giving heart, all right? Oh, that's all right. You can follow, watch the replay, Phil. Watch the replay, brother. That's why they have replays on Periscope. We're talking about the money game. The money game, and the number 2 pillar, the second pillar in the money game is understanding expenses. That's what we're talking about right now. Understanding expenses. Number 1 is income. Number 2 is expenses. All right? Number 2 is expenses. Yesterday's might be gone now off of Periscope. Hopefully by this weekend, we'll have it on our site at DarrellMuhammad.net. I'll give you more of that information at the conclusion. But we're going to open up for questions here in about 5 minutes. All right, so expenses, right? Talking about expenses, pillar number 2. Now, there's expenses fall into 2 areas or 2 categories, right? Expenses fall into 2 areas or 2 categories. The number one area is your living expenses. Your living expenses. Now, these are your expenses necessary to live, right? Necessary to live. This is the bare bone minimum. Bare bone minimum expenses to live. Expenses to live. All right? That's food, shelter, clothing. Food, shelter, clothing. Right? Those are living expenses. What do I need at minimum to live? You need food, shelter, and clothing. Minimum. Those are living expenses. Right? That's what you need. Now, of course, you have quality of food, quality of housing, quality of clothes. Right? And that's where you can adjust your budget if you need to work your budget. But I'm of the belief that if you focus on your income, increasing income, then you come backwards and you mic down your expenses. Now, there are some tricks that you can use depending on your circumstances. I learned as a stockbroker that tax advice and financial advice is general in nature, right? General in nature, but it's specific in application. Somebody put that in the live feed. General in nature, but specific in application, right? Because there are some specific application where you want to focus on expenses first, then income. But I would say, generally speaking, for most of us that's trying to win the money game, play the money game to win and not to lose, focus on income. Focus on income. Because there's more room in income than there is in you, thank you, Niambi, than you managing or micing down or saving in the expense area. If you make $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month, you can't save $3,000 a month, right? Because you need that to live off. But if you made $6,000 a month, you're living off of $3,000, you can save $3,000 a month. That's why, indeed, sounds like Grant Cardone. That's where we got it from. So that's what that's about. That's what that's about, ladies and gentlemen. Increase your income. What's wrong with that? I mean, you can only squeeze $1 so hard. You can only get 100 pennies out of $1. You can't get 101 pennies, all right? So the number one area is living expense. Living expense. Living expense. Now, if you want to see the extreme of living expense, then look at a homeless person, right? They mic that thing down to the bare minimum, right? You commonly won't see a homeless person with a cell phone, but I wouldn't be too surprised if you did, right? But they got the lockdown, food, shelter, and clothing. They got that locked down to a minimum. It is no expense on their part, not monetary expense. They do have to search for food, shelter, and clothing, all right? So they use it in form of energy. So that's what that is. That is the minimum. So what you want to do, you want to list those categories in living expense: food, shelter, and clothing. Food, shelter, and clothing. And then you put how much you're spending in those areas, currently how much you're spending. Currently how much you're spending in those areas, right? Okay. Now the second area that expense falls into is the area, really, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, is the area that should get you excited. Right? Should get you excited. And that's the area. Area number 2 of expenses is called lifestyle expenses. Lifestyle expenses, right? Lifestyle expenses. That's where everything else is, right? Everything else is under lifestyle expense. Those are your non-essentials. Non-essentials. Your cell phone is not essential, right? Cable's not essential. Internet's not essential, right? Those are non-essential items. Those are what they call lifestyle items. Lifestyle items, right? And the fuller you want your lifestyle, the fuller life you want to have, the fuller life, meaning all-inclusive, right? All-inclusive life, the fuller the life you want to have, ladies and gentlemen, the bigger your items are going to be on your lifestyle expenses. The more and the bigger, right? You might have one, item, that might be $10,000 a month, right? Because those are lifestyle. Those are creature comforts, right? Those are the things that should motivate us, right? Motivate us to focus on the income side, right? The focus on the income side. So you want to make a list of your current lifestyle items and a dollar amount. Current, and then your future. What do you want your future lifestyle to look like? Right? What is that going to look like? You list those things. Boat, start a trust for the family, start a nonprofit organization, be a philanthropist. I mean, you put those things down. We're talking about future. Make a list. You should have 2 columns, current and future. Lifestyle, living expenses, lifestyle. And they say wealthy people, they live in the future, right? They don't look at their current situation. No, regardless, good or bad or indifferent, they focus on where they're going. I heard somebody say that's why the front windshield is huge and your rear view mirror is small. Because you need to be focusing on where you're going, not where you're coming from. All right? So you want to make a current and a future. And it's your lifestyle expenses, right, that gives you the quality, if you will, or adds to the quality, if you will, of your life. Is your lifestyle expenses. Nothing's wrong with it. It doesn't measure your morals. It doesn't measure your character. So don't put those two things together. And that's what happens too often with black folks in our community and just poor, poverty-minded people, is they attach character, right, and morals to money and lifestyle. Don't do that, right? Don't do that. It has nothing to do with each other. And that's the mistake that so many of us make. So today we're talking about in our series entitled The Money Game, how to play the money game, how to play the money game to win and not to lose, because we play not to lose, right? Hey, thank you, Streaming Voice. Appreciate you, man, for restreaming. Thank you for being here, whoever that is. All right, put where you're from, put your name there, because I really want to get to know you, because if you come back over and over again, then we'll connect and I'll be able to recognize you by name, all right? Like Living Chic, she's always here, right? So talking about a series of The Money Game. If you like what you're hearing, what you've heard, brothers and sisters, make sure you come back. We're here Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for a quick 20 minutes. Stacy, hey, Stacy in Abilene, Texas, right up the street, all right? So make sure you come back. All right, we're teaching you what I've learned from my many, many years of entrepreneurship, sales, and marketing. But the thing that really popped the top off the bottle was when I became a stockbroker for a major Wall Street firm. It was Dean Witter back then. I don't know what it is now. I went through so many names. But the movie Pursuit of Happiness, right? The brother in that movie, I forgot his name, that Will Smith played. The same company he started at, Dean Witter, is the same company I started at, Dean Witter. It was like one of the top 4 major Wall Street firms in America at the time. I was blessed and fortunate to start at that company and stayed in the industry for 6 long years. That's a lot of years. You know, when it comes to being a stockbroker, brothers and sisters, as I wait for your questions, I used to say it, being a stockbroker is almost like living in dog years. You know, they say, 1 year to our year, one of our years is 7 to a dog's years. That's kind of how like it is in the stockbroker profession and world, because things happen so fast and there's so much stress, pressure and stress. It seems like, things accelerate. That's why so many of those folks look so old in some cases. All right. So if you have any questions, we talked about today pillar number 2, which is expenses, changing the paradigm shift of how we think about expenses and how we feel about expenses, from something negative to something positive, by understanding that having expenses is the cost of doing business called life. If you're living, you're going to always have expenses. It doesn't matter if you're 100 years old or 1 year old. You're going to have expenses. That's part of life. It's part of living. We should embrace it, right? We should determine what the expenses are by the quality and fullness of life that we want to live. So, if there's any questions, put them in the live stream. Tony from Atlanta, appreciate you, man. All right, appreciate you, Tony. So, put some questions in the live feed. Let's go ahead and answer them. We have 2 minutes for question and answers, all right? Go to this website, DarrellMuhammad.net. Go there after this live stream. Subscribe, get on my list, because we start at Periscope. But this is where the party is going to start being. This is where we're going to start having a lot of private, exclusive content and events here at DarrellMuhammad.net. All right? So you want to make sure you go here after this live stream and subscribe. This is social media. This is the broadcasting platform. But this is where the happening is going to be. This is where the real folks going to show up to get the work done. All right, get the work done. Okay, so thank you everybody for being here. Those that's just showing up, welcome. We've already concluded. We're at the end. We're at the conclusion part. But ladies and gentlemen, always know that you can replay this back. I encourage you to replay it back. And during the replay, you can hit the hearts. During the replay, you can swipe to the right Apple, bottom to the top, like Drake says, on Android. And you can share it. I share all the time. I do a whole lot of sharing. I lead by example. So watch the replay, share it. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, talking about the money game, how to win, how to play it to win, what are rules, how to play it to win, and not playing not to lose. All right? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Same bat time, same bat channel, all right? See you at the top, not from the top, because you, your family, but most importantly, our community, your community deserves your very best, all right? See you tomorrow. Take care. God bless.